In this video, let's talk about how to build a six-figure business by leveraging your human design. My name's Amanda. I built a six-figure business by design. I'm a 4/6 self-projected projector. I have passed 20K months consistently. I'm now living in Croatia, manifested financial freedom, and I want to help break down how I did it and how you can do it too. This is exactly the work that I do with my clients. And I really feel like your human design is a cheat code when it comes to business because it literally tells you everybody talks about being authentic, but what the fuck does that even mean? We don't even really know. Authenticity is who you are when no one's watching, when there is no risk of punishment. Like basically who you are with your friends, your family, when you're by yourself. And that is who you are at your core. And your human design gives you language and terminology and this deep awareness of how you came to show up in the world. So today, even though there's no one right way to build an online business, there are certain frameworks and principles that work for everybody and tools that exponentially increase your chances of success. And these are things that I have stumbled across through trial and error, learning things the hard way. And so I just want to help you shortcut that time as soon as possible and share it with you. Specifically, we're going to be talking about building an audience, offers, and a system, like a back-end system for delivery and working with your clients that works for everyone, regardless of your type. So if you've been trying to build your business in a way that's like a cookie cutter, one size fits all approach, and it's not working, maybe you've hit an income ceiling, you can't seem to break past 5 or 10K months, you're booked out on one-on-one clients, you can't expand your client list, then this video is going to really help you understand what your next steps are. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you a 30 days to demand human design game plan to getting this started as soon as possible. Last year, I was part of Alex Hormozy's mastermind on Skool, the Skool 100, and learned so much. However, it was very like bro marketing brute force. They wanted you to do 300 the rule of 300, which was 100 comments, 100 DMs, 100 minutes on content every single day. I don't think I did that once because that just wasn't really feasible for me. And I do feel like there is a bunch of fake news out there about projectors. I would just like need naps all the time and just sit around waiting for these explicit invitations or someone to pay us thousands of dollars, like, in the form of a client. And that's not true. There is a happy medium, and that's what I want to get to. So the common ground, no matter what your human design is, it doesn't matter. We all need an audience, i.e. eyeballs, attention, and we need an offer, which is how you monetize it. There's a difference between attention and intention. You can have a ton of eyeballs. I see this with a lot of TikTok creators. They could have hundreds of thousands. And I've worked with a lot of these clients. They come to me and they have, 15 times the following that I do, making a fraction of what I make because they didn't have the right offer or monetization system in place. Because what happens is you can get a ton of views and likes and engagement, but it doesn't always translate to sales. And the reason it's not is because you don't have a high value premium offer that gives people a clear transformation. Or maybe you do have a high ticket offer. Maybe you're not charging enough. Maybe you're not clear enough on the transformation. Maybe you're selling to the wrong people. And one of the biggest things I've learned is the opportunity cost of working with clients who are not aligned, basically clients who there was so much work on my end and their end to get them going and they weren't really willing to do it. And you spend so much more time with these clients, they want so much more and they're not taking the actions, and it just sucks your life force. And every one of those you're working with is another client who would get 10 times the results that you're not encountering because you just don't have the time. You don't have the bandwidth. So we're going to talk about that. And then we all also need a place off of social media where you can deepen the relationship, where you're in charge of the next point of contact, because on social media, most of your people aren't even seeing your content. It's crazy. Sometimes I feel like I'd be talking about the same things over and over again, and I'll have someone who I know has been following me for ages reach out. Like, that's the first time they've heard me say it. We are so distracted and inundated with information all day, every day. Most of your people are not even seeing your stuff. And that's why all high powered business baddies who have really hit multiple six, seven figures and beyond have an email list, community. They have somewhere where they're in charge of the next point of contact. You've probably heard how important it is to have someone's email address and be able to show up in their inbox. I struggled a lot when it came to setting up the landing pages and the funnels and the opt-ins. And what's really worked for me is having a freemium Skool community. This means it's a free community on the front end, a high ticket on the back end. And I'm going to show you the content system that plugs into all of this to bring those aligned clients into your world using human design and intentional educational content. And we're always going to start with a high ticket one-on-one offer. This is the fastest path to clients. That's what gives you the immediate cash injection. And then as we grow and bring in more one-on-one clients, we have more proof. We've gotten better results for our clients. We're able to duplicate ourselves in the form of a video so that we don't have to keep having that same conversation with our clients over and over again. Essentially, when you get tired of explaining the same thing, that's when it's time to go make a video and explain how to do it, so that now when someone asks you the question, you can be like, hey, I actually already answered this in detail right here. Here's the video. That's the right way to make a course. You shouldn't even be thinking about a course or passive income at all until you have, in my opinion, maxed out your bandwidth, leverage potential with active income. So active income is, again, it's where it's time for money. It's a service base, but there's so many ways to do this. But the offer should be at least $3,000. That's the lowest amount you should be charging for something. And if you have a hard time wrapping your head around someone being willing to pay you that, you can start lower. It's just gonna take you longer to get there. I think a lot of us believe that we can only sell to people who are like, we sell out of our wallets, meaning we feel more comfortable selling to our friends and peers, people who we relate to, and we're not really sure that we have something to offer to someone that they would be willing to pay that much. But what I have found to be so interesting, and I was the same way when I started. I couldn't even imagine charging $3,000. My first things I sold, I think it was $150 a month. And what's crazy is I spent so much time with these people. They got the worst results. And now that I charge, I don't know, way more than that, the clients there, it's a different caliber of client, and actually it's less work to deliver for a high ticket client than it is for a low ticket client, because it's always based on value, right? If this is that person's last $100, they want to suck every dollar of value from you. If this is someone who's already making $15,000 a month, and you can help them get to 30, then they're just going to do the work. They're going to take the action. They trust you more. They don't need as much handholding and babysitting. And so I want you to take it out of your head that you don't have something that valuable. I almost promise you that you do. After we've built out the course, or we've added a group component to our services, you can also expand with tech or software. And this is actually something I'm looking into doing. Well, I built my 100K business by design AI, which is essentially my content and business second brain that I built for myself first, and then it worked, and then I rolled it out to my clients. It analyzes your human design, optimizes your high ticket offer, understands your ideal client, and maps out 30 days of authority boosting content that drives sales in under an hour. But what I'm looking at doing next, this would be like software as a service, is there's a way to create a chat bot. So right now, when my clients get the 100K AI, I'm spending my time onboarding it, setting it up for them, making sure it's all working, they know how to use it. But now I can essentially automate that whole side of the process. And so that's something I'm looking into doing here pretty soon, where it would just be like a chat bot, and they're just like, hey, help me make this YouTube video, and it just does it. So that would be an example of expanding with software, and that is such a hot thing. feel like a lot of business owners are low-key sleeping on AI. Sure, they're using ChatGPT kind of like as Google, their therapist, to help them with kind of everyday things, but they're not really sure how to use it in their business. And this is a huge competitive advantage. And we all have different competitive advantages. Nobody stays relevant forever. So you got to double down on the things that make you you and that you're able to do. And with my Aquarius North Node, I know I'm here to build tech and systems and tools and innovate to help people create their own freedom who, like me, say, fuck the system, create our own system. One last thing is that about selling high ticket premium value to people who have the means and the resources is that it I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are really wantrepreneurs. I heard this from Myron Golden. It really resonated in that because they feel more comfortable selling cheap things, they will opt for selling, $250 readings or going live on TikTok doing, $50 readings. And that's okay at the beginning if you just want to get some practice in, but it isn't a long-term sustainable solution. It's so difficult. And a entrepreneur is where you have low volume times low profit. That equals a wantrepreneur. What you've essentially done is you said, fuck your boss. You don't want to have a boss anymore. You were like, I could, do better on my own. You go off on your own and you trade one boss for 100 bosses in the form of clients who it doesn't support you at the end of the day. And you're working 10 times as much as you were before, which is why it's so important to leverage your unique competitive advantage. And you don't have to have the confidence to sell high ticket. You just have to have the courage. There's no secret. So when I went from selling things for $150 to $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000, the service really didn't change that much. And it just comes from practice. There is no substitute for time and market, but it's not like there's some secret that your service is gonna change so much from going, selling something for 5,000 versus 10,000. It just changes the caliber of client, their level of commitment, their results, and social proof at the end of the day is one of the most, if not the most important part of bringing in more clients just like them. Okay, so the core system here of building a six-figure business by design is we have a freemium Skool community. What this is it's a free community on the front end, high ticket on the back end. And this allows you to be in charge of the next point of contact. You have somewhere where you're in control of that audience. You now have their email address and you're able to it's like we're more connected than ever, but lonelier than ever. People crave connection and community and relationships. And that's one of the beautiful things that this allows you to do. Secondly, it solves the leads problem. If you're only relying on your social media to bring in one-on-one clients, you are leaving so much money on the table. Not to mention impact. And I'm so sick and tired of people saying, like, someone asks you, how healthy do you want to be? You don't say, oh, just healthy enough. But someone asks you how much money you want to make, and you're like, oh, I just want enough to be comfortable. Like, what the fuck is that? No, I want to make as much money as humanly possible because I believe that the more money is in the hands of good people, the better the world is going to be. Money just gives you options. It gives you freedom. So I'm sick and tired of that. And so by having a freemium Skool community, you can create content that solves a problem for your audience, positions you as an authority, invites them to take that next step, which is joining a free community. It is not that hard to get someone to join a free community if there's something inside that they actually want. Now you have this pool of people who are interested in you, what you have to offer. They're seeing the other people that you have worked with who have gotten results because you have your free clients and your free members and your paid clients in the same community. So your paid clients are like, oh my God, this Amanda, this is what happened. And people are like, oh shit, this Amanda, maybe she could help me. Maybe she could help me. So now it's massive leverage. Instead of just creating a piece of content that disappears into the void after a week, now you've got them in a community where you can provide value, show up as the authority, build relationships, build connection. Now you have more people who are more demand for your services, and it allows you to be able to kind of pick and choose who you want to work with. I don't know if you've ever worked with clients who are not great clients. And you were like, God, this kind of sucks. And you felt like you had to say yes because you didn't have any other options. You felt like, oh God, I have to. I can't say no because I need the money. Well, this allows that to not be a problem anymore. And so it's one place, it's one central hub where you can have your courses, your community, your calendar, your everything that you need. I think I said most of them. It's your website, your email list. It does everything that you need for your business, and it's in one place. It's super easy to manage. I run mine. Probably takes me like an hour to a week to run the community itself because it doubles as like if I create a YouTube video, I'll put it on YouTube, but I also put it in my community. So a lot of the things I'm doing already, I also add them to the community, and it adds its leverage. So you set up your freemium Skool community. And then what I do is I use my 100K business by design AI, analyzes your human design, maps out your high ticket offer, understands your ideal client. And then I use all of that information to create a 5-part video sales letter. This is a valuable free resource that you put inside of your community that solves a problem for your ideal clients and positions your offer as the next logical step that to solve this problem. And so a video sales letter is just that. There's only 3 things that prevent people from taking action or from doing business with you. And Alex Hormozi talks about this. It's internal doubts, like internal blocks, external blocks, circumstantial. And so what I created is just like a series of prompts. It's inside Winter in the 100K Biz by Design AI, but it's a series of prompts that does all of the things I just mentioned, understands your human design, your offer, your ideal client, and then it just like literally maps out your entire 5-part video sales letter. You record that, you put it inside the freemium Skool community. Most people think they need so much more content or like so much more ready to actually launch their community. There is a right and wrong way to launch a community. The right way, think about it as a lecture versus a party. If I invite a bunch of friends over to my house and I have a fucking 50-page, PowerPoint deck, and I've got a captive audience and I'm going through all the slides and I'm like, oh, and then this and then that. Like, are those people not going to come over anymore? No, they're gonna be like, fuck you, Amanda. This is the most boring party I've ever been to. Versus if I'm like, hey, come over at 7. It's gonna be a vibe. It's Margarita Taco Tuesday. I'm gonna have some friends over. We'll have a DJ. The music will be on. You can have a comfy place to sit. It's gonna be great. We're hosting a party, and for a party, it's a group effort. It's like push versus pull. If you have all of these things ready to go in your community before you launch, you're going to build a bunch of shit that your people don't even care about and they think is boring, because what you think the problem is versus what it actually is and what they're willing to pay for are always 2 different things. So you just need a 5-part video sales letter that positions you as authority. It is something valuable that they want, and then makes your offer or booking a call with you the next logical step. And then what I would do is I'd have the 5-part video sales letter in the community, and then also I would create a playlist on YouTube where it's the same. I put the mini course inside that playlist, and that way you're getting more eyeballs on your content, and it also works as the asset in your Skool community, so that now when you start creating content on social media, or if you already are, you're like, hey, join my free community. For example, I created a Find Your Online Persona with Human Design. It's a 5-part mini course. It's inside Spiritual Business School right now. And I can create content around human design, building an audience, whatever. And I'm like, now go join my free Skool for Find Your Online Persona with Human Design. So it's something valuable that they want, but then it also allows them to get a taste of what it's like to work with me. And then so they book a call. Do you see what I'm saying? That's really all you need to launch. And I've done a ton of videos on setting up your Skool. They're all inside Spiritual Business School right now if you want more like in detailed step by step. But that's like the pull method. So push would be you having a whole course done, a bunch of different resources and things, and everything's all ready to go. Now you're pushing information on them. What we would prefer to do is pull the information from them. So we give them something juicy, something valuable, and then people are always going to say, hey, what about this? I have questions about this. Do you have anything to help me with this? And that's exactly what I did. I was before I had a free community and a paid community. They were separate. That was just like significantly more operational complexity. I ended up closing the free, and now I just have the freemium. And I had asked my mentor at the time, I was like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what my lead magnet should be, what my mini course should be. I don't know. I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He was like, did you ask your community? I was like, no. Is that what I'm supposed to do? He's like, yeah. And so I did. And they're the ones who told me they wanted find your online persona with human design. I would have never guessed that. I wasn't even talking about human design in my front facing content at the time. I was using it with my clients because I've just been obsessed with it ever since I discovered it in true projector fashion. But it wasn't something I really used in my marketing. And then I was like, oh shit, they will tell me. They have all the answers. Your audience, your members have the answers too. And so we want to, pull the answers from them, or yeah, or have them tell it, you can either pull them whatever you want them to tell you, or you to find out from them. And then that's how you build your course. That's how you start creating more resources for them. Okay. And the second thing I would do is weekly long form content on YouTube. So because we've created this 5-part mini course, these are videos that are about, I would say, I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 minutes. And you can repurpose those into 7 to 10 pieces of short form content. I just have my AI analyze them, and then I use that as my short form content throughout the week. And then all of my short form content, I'm kind of pulling out a key concept from the long form video, but I'm just doing like, this would be a 60-second recreation of it. And I say, comment this word for the free mini course or for the full YouTube video. And now all of my content is working together. It's part of a cohesive whole, and it's all guiding people on this journey from curious to client or cold to sold. Now, once they've commented for the full video or the full training on YouTube or the full mini course, now I'm responding to their comment in the comments, and I'm also reaching out in the DMs. I also created a 100K Sales by Design AI that's part of my 100K Biz by Design AI templates, just a piece of it, that will guide you through having those DM conversations. I'm not going to get all into how to have DM conversations today, because I feel like that's a separate video that I've already done some content on, but essentially you need to understand like what made them comment, like what are they struggling with when it comes to sales, human design, marketing, content, shadow work, whatever your video is about, and then figuring out like what they've tried before. There's a whole framework for this, and if you want more information on that, just comment below. I'll send you one of the videos I made. But yeah, there's definitely an art and a science to having DM conversations, but sales happen inside of conversations. That's my point with all of this, is we now have a holistic content system. I use this AI to map out 30 days of authority boosting content that drives sales, where it's like short form, long form, freemium community. The short form has the CTA to comment. Now I'm reaching out in the DMs and I'm able to have a conversation with them, because sales happen inside of conversations. If you're just creating 60-second TikToks and waiting for people to roll up in your DMs and hand you thousands of dollars, you are doing it wrong. And the reason I created this AI DM assistant is because I struggled so much with DMs. I didn't fucking know what to say. I was treating it like therapy. I was like overloading them. I was just like, this is so fucking annoying, Amanda. It was taking me so much time to figure out how to have DM conversations. So I was like, I am going to train an AI on how to have these conversations so that I can just like copy paste and keep moving. It's a volume game, but it's an energy and intention game, and it's also a volume game. Most people are going to say no. 7 out of 10 people saying no to your offer, that's like good. If you have an 80% close rate, or 80% of people are just taking you up on your offer, you're priced way too low. Way too low. I digress. So that's the holistic content system from cold to sold. Now, inside your freemium community, I would recommend doing one weekly live call open to everybody. It can be super low key. It doesn't have to be a webinar or a masterclass or anything like that. It could just be, mine is Matcha Muffin Mondays. It's free. It's open to everybody. And this just gives that FaceTime, authenticity, rawness, depth that people need in order to make a purchase decision, because people generally need to spend 7 to 11 hours with you in order to feel comfortable making a purchase decision. And so one of the things that we can do to speed up that process and build that connection faster is a weekly hangout on the calendar. So we have a weekly hangout. We've got our free mini course. There's a few other things. A few, like, you want to have an activation action, something where when they join the community, whether it's like introducing themselves, sharing a picture of their workspace. What's another one? Oh, I do free human design for business audits. So if you want one of those, definitely join Spiritual Business School. That link is down below. But I give them a simple template. It's got a few questions that they answer, and then I create a personalized Loom video for them, kind of giving them the big picture of what I'm seeing based on everything that they've shared, what the bottleneck is, what the solution is, and maybe pointing them in the direction of either the mastermind, a good resource for them, something to help them move them forward. And that's what's called an activation action, because we want to get them involved in the community, preferably as soon as possible. All right, so now let's go into customizing this for each type. The fastest path to clients by aura type. Everything that we've discussed thus far works for everybody, regardless of your type. And I don't want to hear, oh, I'm a reflector, so I don't have energy, or I'm a projector and I just can't do it. I'm just so sick and tired of that. Like, stop using your human design or your astrology as an excuse not to do the things that need to be done for your business. It's about finding what works for you. All we need is consistency and momentum. And it always takes, if you're a plane taking off the ground and it's really foggy, it's like really hard to get off the ground. But if you're already up in the air above the fog, it's pretty easy to stay up. So at the beginning, we need consistency and momentum, or we need systems to enable us to have that consistency and momentum. So once you have these pretty basic systems in place, you're able to outsource, automate, eliminate, delegate, get a VA. Then we can really start scaling. But until then, we just got to do the best we can with what we have available. Okay, so projectors, like me. Projector's strategy is to wait for the invitation. I prefer to say creating invitations, because waiting sounds very passive. Like there's nothing you can do. You just have to sit back and wait for somebody to be like, Amanda, here's $1,000. Can you please help me? Like, that never fucking happens. The way that we create invitations is by going all in on our zone of genius, following our curiosity, showing up, making ourselves discoverable by creating content that positions us as the authority. So ask yourself, what am I noticing that people are missing? What is the bottleneck? Where are people getting stuck? What is my lived experience that I can draw from? And your profile line is really, really going to be helpful here too. I think profile lines are even better when it comes to sales. Aura type is more directly applicable in the role that you're here to play in your business. At least that's how I would put it. So creating content. Hands down, the best thing that has ever happened to projectors is social media. If you're a projector and you're not on social media and you want to have an online business, you got to figure that shit out. I don't even know what to tell you. I'm sorry. It's true. So you want to sell to action takers who have high ROI potential. There was one client, I helped her go from 5K months to 22K months. And I did it because I was positioned as an authority. I knew my stuff. She really needed systems and support installing everything that we've discussed thus far into her business. And then once we did, she had 68 paid clients in 2 weeks, hit her first 22K month within a month or two. It was like such a short period of time. And that was the first time I realized, like, oh shit, what I did with her wasn't really different from what I had done with clients before. She just got better results. And so now I just talk directly to those people just like her in my content, and I have them. It's amazing. And you need that as a projector. Like, you want people who really value your expertise and wisdom, because they're going to get the best results. And that's how you create the invitations. Generators, your strategy is to respond. You have this big, beautiful, magnetic, magnificent aura that is constantly drawing people and places and opportunities to you that you can respond to. So it's different from projectors. You're constantly responding to life every day. And most of our population are generators. So in your content, you want to give people things to respond to. Give them really good, yes or no questions. Are you interested in this or this? The biggest thing that I see hold generators back, it's this lack of confidence in the value that they provide. And the way around this is by realizing it isn't really about you. There's a story I always like to tell with this. It was a British prime minister candidate, Benjamin Netanyahu. And this woman who was a reporter was going out to lunch with him and his competitor, and then she was going to decide who to vote for. And so after she had lunch with Netanyahu, they asked her, how was it? She said, oh my God, he's the most interesting person I've ever met. So charismatic, so much to say. I've just never met anyone like that before. And they said, cool, who did you vote for? And she said, oh, I voted for the other one. And they were like, what do you mean? You just said this guy was the most interesting person you'd ever met. And she said, yeah, Netanyahu made me feel like he was the most interesting person in the room. The other guy made me feel like I was the most interesting person in the room. It's about involving your audience in process, in the journey. Remember, people will always buy what they helped to build. We are not going around behind the velvet curtain like Wizard of Oz making a bunch of shit because we're avoiding the actual work of showing up and making ourselves discoverable and giving people things to respond to. Because if you do that and then you come out and you're like, hey guys, I have all these things, who wants to buy it? Literally nobody asked you to do that. They didn't respond to shit. You're just telling them, here, come buy this thing that nobody asked for. So that is not what we are doing. So bring them into the conversation they're already having. Lean into your authenticity, your vulnerability, making them feel like the most interesting person in the room. Manifesting generators. I love you guys so much. I don't know if it's the ADD, but y'all my peeps. You get so much done. There is nothing more empowered and exciting than an aligned manifesting generator. An aligned mani-gen experiences freedom, and you have the ability to create that for yourself because you are the shortcut finding ninja. A misaligned manifesting generator experiences impatience. And because you get impatient, you have this tendency to skip steps, and sometimes they are important steps, and you don't really know until you're through it. Mani-gens are heavy on the generator, light on the manifester. And what you'll try to do if you're misaligned, you're going out and initiating all of these new things. And then when it gets challenging or you get bored, you pivot and you lose all the momentum you built along the way. So it's so important that you let your audience know that you have a step-by-step system, that you're not going to leave them behind, because most of us cannot keep up with you. And that's okay, but you need to let them know that you have a system for getting them from point A to point B so that they don't feel like you're going to leave them in the dust when you get bored and head on to a new thing. We want to build that freedom into your business so that you can pivot. For you, it's not so much about picking one thing. Get that out of your head. It's not about picking one thing, but it's about finding a way to bring all of your things under one roof that serve your mission, serve your ideal clients. You could be into, it doesn't matter how diverse your interests are, there is a way to bring them, pretty much most of them, under the same umbrella in an offer, and a high ticket offer. It's just about doing so with the client or the customer in mind and letting them know you have a system for this. Manifestors, you are here to initiate and inform. It's going to be super important that you are able to systematize your delivery so that you can stay in your creative flow. You're not here to do all of the heavy lifting. And so we just need a simple, streamlined, sleek system that takes people from cold to sold, preferably with your high ticket VIP offers that value the ideas and insights and innovation that you bring to the table, because you're literally here to call the future into us and give us all jobs. And I know you don't like being told what to do. And nobody's telling you what to do. I'm just saying there's certain frameworks that make this easier, and that's what we've discussed thus far. So just having one simple converting funnel that's taking people from cold to sold, and then you use a Skool community to systematize and streamline all the back end shit so that you can initiate and birth these new things into existence without having to manage the back end of running a website or a funnel or an email list. Like, it's just going to be so powerful for you. While I feel like every projector needs projectors, coach need coach, healers need healers, for non-sacrals specifically, projectors, manifestors, reflectors, it's systems. Once you get your systems in place, you can outsource, automate, eliminate, get a VA, and that's going to free up so much of your creative juices so that you can stay in your lane of what you enjoy doing. And you also need a good bit of rest time. You're going to have periods where you're all in and super excited and you can just get so much done. And then you're going to need just as much, if not more, rest to recharge, where you're in like a horizontal position. Your aura needs that time. And also having these systems in place protects your auric field, your energy. You're not having to constantly, field questions and do a bunch of like Q&A and leaking energy all over the place. Think about like your business is like a bucket. If you've got a bunch of different buckets, a bunch of different offers, and a bunch of different, funnels, ways for people to work with you, platforms, and they're not all working together, none of these buckets are getting full. We need one bucket. All right, reflectors, fastest path to clients is going live. Reflect to the collective. What are you noticing? What's missing? Where have we been? What do we need to know to move forward? It's just really, really good for you to spend that kind of live time with your audience because you pick up on so much that you can use for literally everything in your business. So go live, share insights, the patterns, the bottlenecks, where the industry is heading. And again, the Skool community is really going to enable you to do that. I know soon they are launching native live streaming so that you'll be able to just go live in your community instead of like having to give them the Zoom link, which works too, but it's just going to be so much more convenient. You could just go live in your community anytime you want and get the answers to anything you need to know. Again, all of this is like the pull method. You're positioning yourself as a leader in your field, making yourself discoverable to the people who already want and need what you have to offer. It's not about convincing or pushing what you do on anybody, because there's too many people who are primed to buy right now. We just need them to know about us. So we don't have to force it. You can literally just show up and use generosity as a growth strategy, have a good offer in place, and this works. So if you want somebody to help you map all of this out, set up your 100K business by design AI, I do have a couple spots open for a business strategy call. You can apply to work with me one-on-one below by booking one of those calls. And because you stayed till the end, as promised, if you want the human design business playbook, 30 days to demand, it's a document I made that outlines this whole process and has a few other pointers in there for you, then that is available inside my free spiritual business school. And I'll have posting this video in there. And if you just comment on that post or reach out to me in the DMs and just say, hey, I'd like the business playbook, then I will send it right over. Make sure you're subscribed for more content too. It really, really helps me, and leave some comments below. I love you so much. Mwah.